The U.S. Youth National Team and the U.S. Men's National Team have been involved with multiple dual national battles over the years, but there's one country that we have to battle against more often, and that is Mexico, El Tri. And today we have an exclusive interview with Fidel Barajas, another Mexican American that is torn in between the United States and Mexico. Or is he? Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to another dual national interview where I'm going to put my tactical recruiter hat on. No, I'm not actually going to put any hat on. If you're expecting that, sorry to disappoint you. But today we have an exclusive interview with Fidel Barajas, a Mexican-American that plays for Charleston Battery in USL at age 16 and just won the CONCACAF U17 championship for Mexico. But he has played for the United States, and we'll find out in this interview if he's still open to representing the United States after getting provisionally cap-tied. I would also like to give a shout out to Marcus Chai. He does a great job covering U.S. Youth National Team prospects, so I'm putting his hand on the description. If you like U.S. Youth National Team content, go follow Marcus Chai. With that said, let's play the intro and let's start the interview. All right, everyone, welcome to another interview here at the channel. Today we have Fidel Barajas that unfortunately he played for the Mexican U17 side that defeated us in the CONCACAF U17 championship this past month of February. Fidel, besides that, thank you very much for coming along. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Feeling good. Thank you for having me. Like, first of all, really excited. And yeah, see what's up.
Yeah. So Fidel, why don't we start with this? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where did you grow up in the US or in Mexico? We know you're, just to make it clear to everyone, he is Mexican American. And maybe how do you fall in love with soccer, get into it briefly so they can get to know you?
Okay. Yeah, well, my name's Fidel Barajas. I was born and raised in Sacramento, California. And yeah, my parents both were born in Mexico. They're from Michoacan, Santa Clara. And yeah, I mean, I be going there every year in December with my grandparents and stuff. I don't live in Mexico. Or I never lived in Mexico, but I do visit it a lot. And yeah, I mean, I started playing football when I was like around 6, 5. That's when I first well, obviously I picked up the soccer ball way before, but that's when I first started like joining teams and playing like more with like my friends and the team. But yeah, I mean, from there I've been growing up, and I really never imagined myself playing with the national team at this young age. But you know, it's a gift that God gave me. But yeah, I mean, I started with a lot of local teams. For example, I played with Sac Republic from Sacramento. I moved on to San Jose, and then from there, I mean, I signed my first professional contract with Charleston Battery. So, I mean, it's a dream come true, and I mean, I've been grinding it out so far.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to all those topics there. This was just so the viewers can get a quick grasp of who you are and everything. But now we're gonna talk in details about almost everything you just mentioned, and we can even start the first one here. U.S. Youth National Team and Mexico's Youth National Team. We just talked about how you played the CONCACAF U17 for Mexico, but for anyone that doesn't know, Fidel was with the United States not so long ago, right?
Like in the beginning of the year.
A year. So you played with us as a right winger mostly. You're a lefty. That's what I noticed in the tournament. Yeah. And for Mexico, they played you more as a true winger. I saw you fall more down the left.
Definitely, yeah.
So in regards to that, let me ask you the first thing right away. What happened? Why did you end up going? Because you were the first choice on the U.S. at the right wing until the tournament. So why did you end up playing this tournament for Mexico instead of the U.S.?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was with U.S. first. That was my first like national team I was with, and it was going good. And I had like invitations with Mexico as well while I was with U.S., but I would choose U.S. And this started going more with Mexico because we had a little bit more camps, and USA they stopped calling me and they called new players like to check them out. And from there, I kept going with Mexico. I just made my choice. I kept getting invited by Mexico, and the CONCACAF was coming up, so I had to make a choice soon for this tournament. And yeah, I just decided to stay with Mexico. I was first winger there too. So, I mean, with my family too, being from Mexico, representing Mexico, it meant a lot to me too. So I decided to stick with Mexico for the CONCACAF.
Yeah, that makes sense for your household at least. I know yourself, you're more divided in regards to that growing up in the US, but your household, your parents, it's all El Tri, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Everyone I ask here that's from Mexico, it's the same thing. So
yeah.
I guess it was like the US didn't call you a few times and Mexico did, and then when it came the time to decide, you
Yeah,
went
I
with
was,
Mexico.
yeah,
And with this tournament, you got provisionally cap tied, which means if you want to play for the US, you have to file a one-time switch, but it means you're not cap tied. It means you're still open,
yeah, yeah.
which is a question that I want to bring here. And I want to give also a shout out to Marcus Chai. He's probably one of the best in the business covering US youth. And
Mhm,
some of these questions in this video, he even gave me to not gave me, but I asked him, he's like, hey, I want to know this. I'm like, those are great questions. And
mhm.
the one I just asked you was his, and there's this one too. And both of us are wondering this. Are you still open to representing the US? Is it something that you're still 50-50, or right now your focus is more Mexico, or you're open to both? You just had to make a decision now for this tournament.
Well, yeah, for this tournament, my focus before it was Mexico. Mexico, stay focused on that for the tournament. And obviously, I mean, now we have I mean, US and Mexico both qualified for the World Cup. I mean, to be honest, USA was my first choice in the beginning, so I'm more than open to go to any camps we have leading into this year. I mean, it's all up to them, but yeah, I'm open.
Yeah, and I think for the I could be wrong on this, but I think for the U17 World Cup, you could only play for Mexico in the youth level now. I could
Yeah,
be wrong with that, but I think for the
yeah,
youth level, you
for
can.
this,
And then at the senior level, you could file the
yeah,
switch if
yeah,
you
yeah.
ever want to.
Hmm.
In regards to all of that, then, so right now you're open to both, obviously, but there is a bit more of a commitment with Mexico because, like we just said, in the youth level, you don't really have an option right now. Um, what I don't know how much you want to get into detail with this, so this is entirely up to you, Fidel.
Yeah, yeah,
What would take at the senior level? Let's say again, both opportunities show up because you just had that in the youth level. You had both, and
yeah.
you were the first choice. If both opportunities shows up, what do you think would weigh into your decision, or you don't know there yet? You don't have an idea.
No, no, I have no idea of the senior level, not yet. I mean, hopefully soon, but right now, not really. Just more on the youth level.
Yeah, and let's go to this one here. Now that we're done with the national team, because I think you already explained to us everything right there.
Yeah.
I want to just finalize one thing. How was it to play against the U.S. in the last game?
Knowing we are gonna play US, I was really nervous. I mean, it's the country I was born in, so it did mean a lot. And playing against those players and coaching staff that I mean I played with for a very long time, it was nerve-wracking, but also it was really fun. It was exciting to get to play against them and just yeah, I mean it was a moment that I won't forget.
You knew most of the players in the U.S.
Yeah, I know most of them. Yeah, because I played with them in the U.S., but also most of them because of MLS Next. I would play when I was in San
Mhm.
Jose, so I knew most of them and their background. Yeah.
Out of the completely random too, I'm just gonna pick your brain on this too. Out of the players in the United States, is there any player that you see that impresses you? That you're like, wow, this is a very good player. Which one do you rate very highly from the ones in that squad that you know?
Well, I barely know him, but I thought the striker Kaler, I thought he was a beast. I mean, I
Figueroa,
didn't get to play with him in the
Figueroa.
yeah,
Figueroa.
I didn't get to play with him in the national level. I didn't. He wasn't there when I first played with US, but yeah, he was really good.
Yeah. I liked what I saw throughout this tournament from many players in Mexico too. You had a good tournament. Your center forward, I forgot his name, that
Stefano
scored a
Carrillo?
pen. He's very good too. Very good
Yeah,
player too.
yeah,
Mexico always does well in these youth tournaments too. You
they
got the
do.
World Cup coming up in November. But why don't we come back? Let's go back to the United States now, not national team, club level. Let's go back to
Mhm.
your team. So you said you were born in Sacramento, right? That's
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
grew up, and you played for the San Jose Earthquakes Academy, right?
Mhm.
An academy that, by the way, is kind of starting to get some steam there, right? Nikos Shakidis, Kate Cowell. There's a few players coming up there from that academy. So you didn't stay with MLS. You went to Charleston Battery in USL. That's where you have your contract, your professional contract, which you're expected to play this season, right? For them already. And we've seen a few young players doing that too. And that's something that Marcus Shai was talking to me about as well when he sent me the questions. So why did you specifically choose that path?
I chose that path because, I mean, I can say for myself, but I know for many players, our goal is to get to Europe, and I feel like going the USL route is, well, for me, I thought it was uh, not an easier way, but I think it's a more like
Faster?
faster, I say more productive
Yeah.
way. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, getting pro experience. I mean, even though people say it's second division, and it is, I feel like getting pro experience from players. I mean, there's players here that come down from MLS. I think just getting that pro experience for a good amount of time, I could take that with me to Europe. Which is if I sign it with the team in Europe, I feel like that experience will help me a lot to go to Europe. Yeah,
So you're trying to go to Europe as I would say as early as you can. So I'm
yeah,
assuming you have an American passport, a Mexican passport, so you'd have to be 18.
hmm
When do you
yeah.
turn 18?
April 5th of
April
next year.
next year. So you got a year and a half to go here, so you can get at least a year and a half. There's a lot of players, by the way, doing that route. Josh Winder, I had him here
Yeah,
on the channel too from Lou City.
uh,
He's going to Europe now, right?
mm,
I had Jonathan Gomez too,
yeah,
Mexican
Gomez.
American, similar situation to you,
Yeah.
Mexico in the U.S. He
Mhm.
also took that route. Um, I don't know how much you're allowed to talk about this too, but have you gone to any trials in Europe? Have you been, is there any interest from Europe already or contact?
Yeah, there's a team collaborated with Charleston from Scotland, First Division, Hibernian Football Club.
Yeah, I know
Uh,
him.
yeah, I was in trials with them. That's where I met Kaylor from the US. We went to a tournament in Portugal with that team when I was on trial, and we got
Mhm.
to play against like Benfica, Porto, and all those teams. And yeah. So I got some experience in trials with a team in Europe, and hopefully more to come.
Yeah, and for this season with Charleston, I'm assuming you just finished preseason, right? Or you're in preseason, right?
We were in prison, but fortunately, I wasn't able to be in it because I was in the CONCACAF tournament.
Yeah, and how's the expectations for this season in regards to starting job for you? What's the well, I don't even know what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say is the minutes. How are your minutes projected?
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to get playing time, but also with that comes, I mean, from training and stuff. But my goal is to become a starter near the not the beginning, but around the middle of the season to fully be a full starter. I mean, that's my goal and get as much minutes as I can.
Yeah, were you training with them last season?
I got to play 3 games with them last season near the end of the
Hmm.
season, and I got to train a couple of times. But I had a lot of international duties with Mexico before the CONCACAF to get ready. Yeah,
How does it translate to you? What differences do you notice? So you played in the CONCACAF U17 championship, which is essentially it's a youth tournament. So all the players, if not all the players, are academy players or transitioning like yourself.
yeah,
Uh, from what differences do you notice from USL to that?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, last year getting experience with training with the team for a while, and then being able to participate in three games, official games of the USL. I feel like I got to take that fast pace because I mean it's a whole different pace. I mean it's professional, it's with older men, so it's like faster pace and like I mean you could say it's like smarter moves with the ball and without the ball. So I got to take that experience with me to the CONCACAF, and I felt more comfortable, more confident, knowing that I was playing some games at the pro level, and I got to bring it down with the national team.
Did you struggle any bit with maybe the intensity or physicality of playing with adults, like grown men, instead of
I
teenagers?
mean, yeah, in the beginning it is a struggle. I mean, it's something you have to get used to, but I feel like I adapted quick
Mhm.
due to the trainings and I mean the players helping me around. So I feel like I adapted quick and yeah.
So before we wrap things up here, I wanted to circle back more. I wouldn't say personal life; it's still soccer related, but more about yourself. You talked about how you would go to Mexico. I think every Christmas. That's what you were saying,
Yeah.
right? To
Mhm.
see your grandparents. Have you ever been to soccer games in Liga MX? Do you follow it? Is that more where your soccer culture comes from? Your parents, they watch it a lot. How does that go?
Yeah, I grew up with the soccer family, especially my dad. He loves soccer, and he's always watching, especially Liga MX games. And yeah, I've been lucky enough to go watch some games live in Mexico. For example, in Tijuana, I got to watch a couple games, and in Estadio Azteca with Cruz Azul and stuff, I got to watch some games, and in Guadalajara for Chivas. I got to watch some games when I go over. So yeah.
Yeah, I went to a game in Mexico last week. No, sorry, last month, and
Uh,
I've been bragging about it a lot. I've been bragging about it.
yeah.
I keep bragging it to everyone that I went to a game. uh, are you gonna leak not yours, even though I'm gonna assume it's similar. Are you gonna leak what team your dad roots for, or no? Can't do it.
No, yeah, yeah. Cruz Azul family from my
Cruz
grandparents.
Azul.
Yeah,
That's in Mexico City.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah, in Mexico City. Yeah, so Mexico City is Cruz Azul, Club America, Pumas.
Pumas.
Did I miss any? That's it.
No, like
I
Puebla's
think that's
around
it.
there. But yeah, it's not the mix. Yeah, I think those
I
three.
think that's it. I think that's it. And in regards to that, did you grow up with pickup soccer culture in the
Yeah,
US?
yeah, all the time with friends, my uncles. Yeah, just friend. Yeah, that's how I grew up playing in the streets and stuff and in the park. So yeah,
In the US.
in the U.S. and when I would go to Mexico, I would always play games with my tios there, some friends, like veterans, pretty much. We would play pickup games.
That's rare in the US to
Yeah, it
find.
is. It is.
I guess California a bit more because you get a lot of like a Hispanic culture, and that's where we
Yeah,
usually get it. Some places in Florida, but that's pretty much it. And Fidel, I think that's everything I wanted to cover for this interview. Hopefully now more of the U.S. soccer fans know more about you, and
yeah,
hopefully they get to see you with the U.S. jersey someday instead of Mexico.
yeah,
But, whichever one you pick, you're still in CONCACAF, and that's what we need, a stronger confederation here because CONCACAF has been struggling lately in the World Cup, but we're getting
yeah.
better over time. Fidel, thank you very much.
No, thank you for having me.